My name is Ryan. My friend Kyle and I have taken our barroom conversations to the internet in the form of Michigan's most up-and-coming sports talk podcast. From baseball to Bigfoot, we cover it all. You're in for a treat because you have found the Turbo and 2K show. What's up, 2K crew? Welcome to episode 36. What's up, 2Ks?
How's it going?
I'll tell you what. You would think that would be a nice... I mean, this is football fucking weather, isn't it?
Oh, I love it.
Beautiful sunshine, a little chill in the air. It's got me pumped up. Mm-hmm. But you know what's got me pissed off? Can't find a fucking Notre Dame game. It's Saturday, 3:30, a little after 3:30 now. And everything I've looked on says it's on NBC except for my NBC. Mm-hmm. Not even on NBC.com. We have fucking gymnastics. And... I know so we decided we'd watch the Michigan State-Wisconsin game, which for Michigan State fans, you might want to tune into NBC to watch the gymnastics.
Wait a minute. They're playing USC, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm looking at my phone right here, and it says they play at 7:30.
Oh, they do play at 7:30. Okay, never mind. I can calm down now. I can calm down.
I was just looking at that because I was like, there's no way that they're going to play gymnastics on NBC over Notre Dame football. And, yeah, 7:30.
I could understand if we were playing, like Michigan or something, then they want to put gymnastics on. So that might be a little bit more entertaining. But anywho, 2Ks, man. I know we're stoked for football. We're getting into it. Everything's hitting on full cylinders. But what's got me stoked and got me kind of shaking my head, scratching my head is the baseball playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Especially the National League.
I tell you what. I mean, granted, you're right, on the American League side, we pretty much, I think everybody, unless you're a Rays fan or an A's fan, or maybe you're a Twins fan. I don't know many Twins fans, but 99% of the people saw that coming.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that's going to be better than the World Series.
Oh, I think so too.
At least I hope it lives up to the hype.
Especially now, because I mean, two of your best teams in the National League are gone. So yeah. I mean, this is, to me, whoever wins that series is probably going to go on to win it all, I think. Yeah,
I honestly think it's going to be a cakewalk, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, just with those two teams, the Yankees and Astros. And if you guys are following us because I tell you what, I'm having a lot of fun with Twitter. I never really have dove into Twitter on my own personal account, but with the podcast, it's fucking fun. So if you guys and gals are not following us on Twitter, it's the Turbo and 2Ks, because for whatever reason someone had Turbo and 2Ks, so I had to go the sons of bitches. But yeah, I've tweeted our boy Jared over at Barstool. He hasn't replied yet, but I figured he can be snarky on his fucking podcast. I can be snarky. Well, he's snarky on Twitter too. Mm-hmm. During the wild card game, he called the Tampa Bay Rays boring, and whoever runs Tampa's Twitter account replied to him, says, "No, we're not boring. We're technical." So yeah, it is really cool, and I'm glad that I started it because it's, in my opinion, it's easier to accumulate a following on Twitter right now, at least for what I've come to notice, than Instagram. So check us out there. And I had someone ask you, like, well, we follow the podcast. We're in the group. We follow you on Instagram. How many things do you have to follow you on? But here's the fact. I put different shit on all of them. Mm-hmm. So it's not like the same thing across all of them. There's different shit. Mm-hmm. So if you want full into the Turbo and 2K world, follow us, man. Yeah. Follow us. Would I let you down? Would I let you down? So, but yeah, the National League, wow. I mean, let's give a quick shout out to Mr. Kyler and Rich Thornburg, probably the biggest Dodgers fans I know. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They did it again.
They did it again. Kershaw did it again. And what led me to the Twitter intro there is, man, I was on fucking fire on Twitter during that game. Kershaw, they bring Kershaw in, and I'm like, oh shit. Then he comes in and gets the first guy out. I'm like, well, maybe this is gonna go good. No, back-to-back knocks, and one of probably the biggest the biggest controversy over that is Dave Roberts didn't bring in Kelly Jansen.
Mm-hmm.
Did he even pitch in that game? Maybe later?
I think he did later, yeah.
And then, you got Bomb City and Howie Kendrick. Big ups to him. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure you and I have talked about
him a lot.
Yeah, he's just your consummate professional hitter.
Yep.
And if you're ever in a fight, he looks like he would fuck somebody up. He looks like he's got a little thug in him. Mm-hmm. But
kind of looks like Mr. T.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
It's smaller, yeah. Afro or the mohawk.
Yeah.
Needs a mohawk maybe, so we can make a really good comparison. But yeah, you're right. And of course, the gold.
Yeah.
The gold. But no, he's that guy that flies under the radar and just gets you knocks. Mm-hmm. And this was a really, really big knock. And to be honest with you, after they had tied the game, I went to bed. Mm-hmm. I fell asleep. Yeah. I was like, "There's no way the Nats are doing this." I was wrong. My baseball picks throughout this whole postseason have fucking sucked. Oh yeah, except for Yankees and Astros.
Yeah,
everything else. Picked my Braves to win. That didn't work.
No.
And who would have thought that St. Louis would be hosting the NLCS? And I had someone ask me about that because the Nationals ended up with 3 more wins. Mm-hmm. But they won the division. Yep. That's why they put a premium on winning your division.
Yep.
So that in this case, which it doesn't happen that often. Mm-hmm. So the person that asked me he follows baseball. And he's like, well, since you put it that way, it makes sense. Mm. It makes sense. But yeah, we had a Nationals won last night, right? I'm trying to remember.
2 nights ago, wasn't it?
No, it was last night.
Was it last night?
Yeah, I would check my phone, but we're recording on my phone, and because my iPad is dead, so I'm pretty sure they won. But we've got Astros Yankees tonight, and Greinke is going for the Astros. Last I heard, and the Yankees pretty much have they can pick and choose and do whatever they want to with their lineup because they swept.
Yep,
they swept. And getting back to that, the dominance that the Yankees have had over the Twins, was it now 15 or 16 in a row?
Yeah,
they have not beat. On the Starting 9 podcast, they said that the Twins have not beaten the Yankees in a postseason game since like 2002.
Really?
Yeah. The last 4 times the Twins have been in the playoffs, the Yankees have swept them. What a mindfuck.
Yeah.
What a mindfuck. That has to be... There's no longer a monkey on your back. That fucker's a gorilla, and he's eating your face. Mm-hmm. When you go that long to even scratch a game, let alone win a series, but scratch a game? Wow. And now, did I think that the Twins could beat the Yankees in a short series? The only reason I say yes is because it's a 5-game series.
Yeah.
Had it be a 7-game, not a chance. But for them, did I pick them to win? No. Did I think they had the pitching to get through the Yankees? Possibly. Yeah. Possibly 1 or 2 games, but like I said, not 3 or definitely not 4.
Yeah.
And for the Yankees pitching staff, which is, and starters in particular, that have been like their Achilles heel or what everyone talks about, to come out and silence those bats for the most part. Mm-hmm. The Twins had 2 innings to celebrate that whole fucking series, and it was game 1. They were up 2-0 at the end of 2. After that, the bats go cold. Somehow the Yankees pitching staff gets crazy, and what's even crazier is when Severino pitched. I think it was 2 innings in a row or 2 out of 3 innings. He had got himself in bases loaded, pretty much no outs, and somehow got out of it unscathed. And so if you're a Yankee fan looking for something huge for the postseason, I think that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's your number 1 right there. It's your number 1. And hell, they're getting Hicks back and a couple other folks. I think Sabathia is going to be on the roster, so they're bringing in reinforcements. Yep. Do I think they're going to beat the Astros?
I just don't see anybody being able to, especially now going to 7-game series. I don't see anybody being able to beat Houston. I mean, you saw they're going to go with Verlander. He slipped up one time. I don't think you're not going to see that the rest of the postseason.
No, because he's going to be on regular rest.
Yes,
and with something like that, you have a horse. You have pretty much 2 horses.
Yes.
At the top of that lineup. Oh. If either one of them would have said, "Coach, I got this. Give me the ball. I got this." As a coach, you got to go, okay. You're not going to tell him no. You're not going to tell him no. Mm-hmm. However, if you're Dave Roberts and Kershaw comes to you and says, "I got it," in the middle of a game, no. If you're going to use Kershaw, you fucking start him. Mm-hmm. But we're kind of getting off topic here. But that. So I'm assuming we're both taking the Astros, right?
Yes.
How many games you got?
I'll say 6. I'll say Houston in 6.
I was gonna go 6 as well, but I'll go 5 now.
As good as Houston's pitching is, that Yankees lineup is
deep,
scary good,
mm-hmm.
and
their bullpen's even scarier.
Yeah, so I think they'll be able to win a couple. So yeah, I'll say 6.
And I'm gonna put this out there right now that if the the Astros come out hot like they did, I don't think there's going to be a team that beats them. Once they get it, when you stake a Verlander or a Garrett Cole or even a Greinke, a 2 or 3 run first inning, just put it in the bag. Put it in the bag. It's done.
But I'm a big time believer in especially when you get to the postseason, and not just in baseball, but in any sport. When a team gets hot, like the Nationals, mm-hmm. Look out for them. I look back to kind of like the Tigers in 2006 when mm-hmm. nobody saw that happening. I mean, they were an up and coming team, but they got hot at the right time and carried it all the way to the World Series. They eventually ran into a Cardinals team that was a better team and lost that. But the Nationals are hot and they're playing really good ball right now.
Morgan's stoked as fuck about the Nats too, by the way.
And so I'm not counting the Nationals or the Cardinals out of it, but I just using my brain here. Houston's the best team. I mean, yeah. Something really crazy is going to have to happen for them not to win this.
Well, I did put. I know whenever we talk about betting and stuff, it's for entertainment purposes only. But I did put a wager on, of course, the Astros, and I got someone to take the action with the Yankees.
Really?
Yeah. Me and Jay Stone, we got a bet. Loser buys a case of Old Style.
I was up there then. Yeah. I remember that bet now.
Loser buys a case of Old Style. And Justin and I years ago, we would have bets to see. Like we're talking probably 10 years ago now. Every year we had a standing bet. He would take the Cubs. I would either take the Red Sox or the Braves. And whoever had the best record at the end of the year, the loser bought a case of Old Style. And you know what? We sat around and drank it. So it's not like there was a real loser.
Yeah.
So, especially since Terrell's carries Old Style, which is probably the only place around that carries it. So, Ron, keep it stocked up because I'm going to be getting a case of Old Style in my hands. I'm fairly certain. But yeah, on the National League side, we have 2 teams that no one would have thought would be here. I mean, I'm pretty sure most everyone, aside from Yadier Molina's family, thought that the Braves were going to win that series. And that was such a horrible Game 5.
Oh, yeah. No, it was basically over after the first inning. The Cardinals were making all their defensive replacements. Yeah. Yeah, as a pitcher, because they were the away team, Atlanta was a home team. It's going to be a good day at the office when you're at the pitch when you're a pitcher when you get a hit and come around to score before you even take the ball. Which I'm sure that doesn't happen that often, but it's got to be a great feeling to be like, well, fuck. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that was very unfortunate. And Fultonevich didn't have it, obviously. I think he went a third of an inning. Mm-hmm. And whoever came in after him shit the bed as well. Mm-hmm. And you fast forward, it's 10-0.
in the top of the first.
Yeah.
That was that was the series I wanted to watch the most. They started at fucking 3 or whatever it is. I get home at 5:30, and every game up until then, the Braves were ahead 1-0. Braves were ahead 1-0. Got home, I'm like, all right, the Braves are going to be up 1-0. Nope. They're losing 12-1 or 12-0 now. So, yeah, didn't watch too much of that game. And I would feel if you're a reliever out of the Braves bullpen at that point, you got to be like, can I just go home?
Yeah.
I mean, tap out.
Your job's pretty much pointless now. I mean,
yeah. Are there any fans that want to come? You want to get some time? Come on, let's go in the bullpen. Let's go in the bullpen. So we've kind of given our picks for the Yankees, Astros. Who you taking on the other side?
I'm sticking with the Nats.
I am too.
I mean, to me, they're the hottest team in baseball right now. Are they the best team in baseball? No, but they're the hottest team, and that's sometimes that's all that matters. This at this point in the season. So
it's the beauty of the second wild card.
I picked the Dodgers in the beginning to win it all this year, and the Nationals took them out. So I'm sticking with the Nats.
Yep. And for everything that we said about we want to see the Mets face the Dodgers because of that pitching staff, the Nats have probably just as good, not as good, but probably just as good starting rotation. So pitching beats hitting in the postseason.
Yep.
And yeah, I was talking to someone. I think it was on our Twitter account about the opener. I hate that. Yeah. I hate that. I really, really hate that. But what I took a new approach to it. Instead of just saying, man, this is fucking bullshit. This is so stupid. I kind of think about it as like running the option in college football. Yeah. You don't have the horses to line up head to head with the other team, so you got to use your advantage when you can. Mm-hmm. So as hard as it is to watch, once I kind of made that comparison, I was a little bit cooler with it. So, do you think that's a fair comparison, though?
Yeah. I mean, I like the comparison, but I have to disagree with you on it. I actually love it as far as how, because I love that part of baseball. It's more of a game of chess, you know. Mm-hmm. It's strategic,
the matchups,
and that's what I love about it. Is to me, it's what makes the managers great. I mean, they know on paper that we can't match up with this team, so we're gonna have to try to find something, some way that we can get some type of an advantage. And when to pull that off, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that, but to me, it seems like to me in now, granted, going back to the comparison. You know, and I'm not using this example to beat a dead horse, but Army almost beat Michigan at the Big House. Mm-hmm. If Army would have lined up and tried to run a pro-style offense like Michigan has, Michigan would have destroyed them. Every team that plays them would have destroyed them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm talking 50 points or more because they can't that when you don't have the pitching staff, especially the starters, to line up against the pitching staff, you know, take the Nationals for instance, or even the Astros. Do I think the Yankees are going to run out there and throw an opener? Nope. Probably the only thing close to an opener is somehow CC gets the ball to start a game and he goes 3 innings, but that's probably the plan going into it. Mm-hmm. You know, give me 4 if possible. If you give me 5, that's just 6 extra outs that I don't have to worry about the bullpen getting. But my big thing is, it seems to me, and now granted, I'm sitting here doing a podcast and not coaching, but when you're flip-flopping so much like that, and obviously the players are cool with it, it seems to me when you're in a bullpen situation like that, it'd be hard to get a feel. Mm-hmm. It'd be hard to get in, to get your feet wet. Of course, when I pitched, I was a starter, so I don't know. It probably takes a special player to fit that system, and kind of the same way with like the football analogy. Mm-hmm. But it seems like there'd be too many. You'd be too prone to mistakes, where you're looking at just math and the stats and not your gut. Mm-hmm. But then again, you go with your gut. If you go with the gut, it doesn't work. You can always take it out and go with the stats, I guess. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's the traditionalist in me, I guess. Mm-hmm. But
like a lot of these teams, on paper, so you try to slide any team in baseball, basically, you try to slide it on paper against Houston as far as Houston's, top 3 pitchers that they have. How do you match up with that?
You're not.
So you have to change up something. And one of the things that you can, anybody that knows anything about baseball is it gets easier to hit every single time you go through the lineup on a pitcher.
Yep.
So you're trying to find any advantage that you can off of it, because we know that we're facing Garrett Cole tonight. Mm-hmm. Garrett Cole's probably going to give them 7-8 innings strong, and we might be able to slide maybe a run on him. Mm-hmm. So we have to do whatever we can as far as if that means throwing 4 or 5 different pitchers at them in that, in the first 7 or 8 innings. Hey, if we can hold them to 1 or 2 runs in that time frame, hey, we have a chance of maybe winning this game when we get to their bullpen. So it's all strategy.
I'm pretty sure Kevin Cash was throwing like a pitcher an inning. Mm-hmm. You look at, you got the 3, 4, 5 hitters are right, left. So you bring in a hook to face all 3, but mainly for those second 2. And I remember how the game went last night. Anibal Sanchez almost do a no-no.
Yes. No.
Where the fuck did that come from? I don't think he hasn't pitched that well since he was in Detroit. And not towards the end of when he was in Detroit. But that ball looked nasty. It was probably 92. But everything was filthy.
When he was at his best in Detroit, he could compare right up there with Verlander and Scherzer.
He just didn't do it sexy.
No. He put up the numbers.
Yeah.
And
he was more the Greg Maddux type, where the other 2 were more Randy Johnson, throwing gas and big ass hooks and shit. And he's just him hawing around the strike zone. I mean, he looked sharp. He looked sharp. And if he's going to pitch like that and the rest of the postseason, everybody better be on watch, because that's another horse that the Nats are going to roll out there.
Yep.
So, yeah, so you're... I think we're both riding the Nats on this one. I think it's going to go 7, though.
It wouldn't shock me.
I really do. Those teams are so... I give the nod to the Washington starters. Mm-hmm. But even Sanchez dealing last night, the kid that the Cards threw, because that wasn't Wainwright, I don't think. But yeah, even the game against the Braves, the kid that they threw, wow.
It was Flaherty against the Braves, right? Yeah, he's been solid all year.
Yeah, and so it wouldn't shock me if the Nats wrapped it up in 5, but I'm really expecting it to go.
Do the Cardinals always just have like these 2 or 3 pitchers that come out of nowhere that are just studs,
and then have like a 2-year run and then take a shit?
Yep.
Kind of like Lance Lynn.
Yep.
Even what's the dude still on the team? The hell's his name? Drawing a blank. Righty. It'll come to me here in a minute. But yeah, it's kind of like Houston now. Are the Cards as dominant? Nope. I think that division's a little bit better too, though. But yeah, that Michael Wacha. There we go.
Yep.
Michael Wacha. I knew I'd get it. It seems like Wainwright's the only one that's been consistent for years and years and years. Yeah. But yeah, they take care of business. That's Mike Maddox's staff, right? Mm-hmm. Goes to show you what he's got.
Yep.
Goes to show you what he's got. All right, so that's enough baseball talk. Even though I'm excited as shit, I got goosebumps and everything. So let's. It's about the halfway point in the college football season. So we're.
Which is crazy to think. It seems like it was just a couple weeks ago we were talking about college football starting.
Yeah.
Now we're at basically the halfway point.
So we're going to give you our probably way too early Heisman picks, because as you saw last week, our way too early baseball picks, we're pretty fucking bad at this. That's why they call it way too early. So we're going to give you our top 5. So Mr. 2Ks, who is 5th on your list, because we're going to tickle those balls of our listeners to see who basically these are who we're inviting to the Heisman ceremony. Give me your number 5.
Number 5, I have Joe Burrow, LSU.
It's not a bad pick. That kid is lighting things up.
We've talked about it for the last couple weeks about LSU always having one of the best defenses in the country, especially through all the Les Miles years. They always had the powerhouse defense, but really didn't have much of an offense. Really never had a quarterback.
Running backs, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You look back even further. I mean, you got OBJ and. But as far as a quarterback, no.
Never really had one. I mean, the first one that comes to mind, Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the best quarterback at the college level, obviously.
Yes.
That I've seen LSU throw out there in years. And this kid, probably the best quarterback I've ever seen LSU have.
And I find it really, really weird, and it kind of goes right to your point where this kid was the first quarterback in LSU history to throw 3 straight games with 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. That's kind of commonplace when you go to most every other system. But yeah, just to kind of give you a score update, Wisconsin is up 7-0 against Sparty. And not to take away from our picks or anything, but how is Lewerke leading the Big Ten in passing yards? First of all, I didn't know State passed the ball or that he was that great of a passer.
Yeah,
but who knows? Who knows? Granted, we're halfway through. And the Big Ten hasn't really been known for stud statistical quarterbacks.
No.
Oh, I am mistaken. Wisconsin just scored again. So, but yeah, I mean, aside from your Russell Wilson,
yes, or you look back at Haskins last year and the numbers that he put up. But you're right.
It's very, it's not the Big 12 where you're going to get someone thrown for 5,000 yards and a million, like video game numbers. Yep. And I'm not saying that Lewerke is video game numbers by any means, but I do find it odd because when you think Michigan State, you think power football, run first, and look at all the studs that they've had, and they just get that. And they for whatever reason, aside from Cousins, they keep pumping out backup quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. So are we going to anoint Michigan State as backup quarterback you? Because I'm pretty sure there's about 4 of them. Mm-hmm. And, you got Cousins as number 5, I think. Except Cousins is starting, obviously. Yeah. Well, my number 5, even though I like that 5th pick, I really do. And would it shock me if he ends up 2 or 3 by the end of the year? Or if not 1? Mm-hmm. Not at all. Kid's having a hell of a season and a hell of a conference, and you look at their schedule right now. Oof, mm-hmm. Oh boy, mm-hmm. I'm going Tua. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people. What the fuck is he doing under number 5?
Yeah, I have him on my list. He's up higher.
Well, I would hope so. I'm pretty sure he's on everyone's list. But granted, he's doing 2 things. Mm-hmm. Alabama hasn't played anybody. Mm-hmm. Now, when they start getting, I think they might have 2 hard games or 2 testers. Mm-hmm. Prove those to me, and you move up my list. Yeah. So it's not that I'm hating; it's just that he hasn't done enough against competition. Mm-hmm. Do I foresee him moving up in my list by the end of the year? Yep. Yeah. Yep. Who is your number 4? Number 4.
Justin Fields, Ohio State. Being the transfer, coming in, picking up a new system, and he hasn't missed a beat. I mean,
he's lighting the Big Ten up.
Yes, he has been. I think I said it last week, but I'll say it again. And I don't like saying this, but Ohio State's to me is the best team in the country right now.
I 100% agree.
And so you're the quarterback on the best team in the country. You deserve to be in the top 5. I have him at number 4.
And yeah, it's definitely hard to argue that at all. And to kind of piggyback off your top team, their schedule that they've played so far, and they're leaps and bounds beyond Alabama, mm-hmm. Clemson, probably leaps and bounds than against any other school in the top. Well, LSU's had a tough schedule too so far, but Oklahoma, they've had a couple. I mean, they just beat Texas today, which was a big. I don't care what the records are. Yeah. The Red River rivalry. But my number 4, Speaking of Red River rivalry, I'm going Mr. Jalen Hurts. And he is another one that I don't think a lot of us were. We were expecting a lot out of him. Don't get me wrong, just because what he did at Alabama. Mm-hmm. But we all saw the passing inconsistencies, and did we really think that going to a Big 12 where you need to pass, you need to be accurate? You know, you're going to put up. They're going to try to get you to put video game numbers up. I didn't think he would be doing this well, but he's answered every test, every question with flying colors, and I don't think you can ask much more of him. And now the reason he's at number 4, and I think in my list he's going to stay there unless something magical happens. Now, I know when I say magical, however, he's ahead of pace of the last two, being Baker and what's the other kid that won it?
Kyler?
Yeah, there we go, Kyler Murray. As far as their stats go, when they won the Heisman, he's ahead of that pace. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying I'm not putting him at number 4 like it's a bad thing. Just there's 3 dudes on my list that I have to put above him. And my number 3 pick is your Justin Fields. I think he might end up at the top of this list. Mm-hmm. I really do. If him and the Buckeyes go out and sweep the Big Ten, beat a Michigan team, beat everyone else, if they go undefeated and win the Big Ten, first of all, we've already said they're the best team in the country right now. I think it's hard. It would take a lot for someone to tell me that anyone even on our list or even off would take that Heisman from him if he continues the pace that he's on. Who is your number 3?
Number 3. Plus, before I go to number 3, I was just looking at the scores from today. South Carolina ended up beating Georgia.
Well, if you're a Notre Dame fan, that fucking sucks. And their quarterback just threw his first interception today. So
South Carolina at Georgia.
That one went into overtime.
Yep, double overtime. Beat them 2017.
Wow. That was at South Carolina, though, correct?
No, at Georgia.
At Georgia. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Big upset. You heard it here first, folks. Upset alert. Yeah, I was shocked that it was, I want to say it was 17-10 that Georgia was down going into the fourth quarter. I think that's what my alert said. Yeah. But who's your number 3?
Number 3, I got Jonathan Taylor, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. I wanted to have him up higher on my list, but to me, it's harder to win the Heisman as a running back than what it is for a quarterback.
Yes.
And so I think it's going to be very hard, especially when I look at some of these quarterbacks that are out, because out of my top 5, 4 of them are quarterbacks. One of them is Jonathan Taylor as a running back. But to me, it's going to be an uphill battle trying to beat those quarterbacks out as far as a number standpoint. But man, he is without a doubt the best running back in the country to me.
Oh, hands down.
And watched it firsthand a couple weeks ago against Michigan, and
for at least a half anyway.
But it hasn't wavered in any game all season long. I mean, he's just steady, Mr. Consistent. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He's just a stud. So now, I have him at number 3.
Give our listeners the stat that you told me before we were getting ready about Mr. Taylor.
At the beginning of this game, the Michigan State-Wisconsin game, this is the 6th game of the season for Wisconsin, and Michigan State ended up holding them to a 3-and-out, and that was the first. It was the first game all season that Wisconsin hadn't scored on their opening drive, and all 5 touchdowns that Wisconsin had on their opening drive going into today were Jonathan Taylor touchdowns.
There you go. Mr. 2K is the stat analyst of the show, keeping it down. Well, I'm going to continue on the JT train here. I've got him at number 2. And excuse me. I have him at number 2 because Wisconsin has a shot. I mean, I have a very, very good feeling they're going to win their side of the Big Ten, probably rather easily. Mm-hmm. And if they go off and beat Ohio State, which I think you and I can both agree are going to win the other side, and if JT puts up about 2 dimes and probably 4 touchdowns against Ohio State, and if he continues the streak that he's on right now, he already has a touchdown in this game. I got to put him at number 2. That is because he is basically the offense. With all these other guys we listed, yeah, they account for a lot of it, but JT is pretty much it. Their quarterback is functional. He's way more functional than Hornibrook was there for the last few years, which I didn't know. He's at Florida State.
Yeah.
What is he on, like his 8th year now? Him and Lewerke must have found a way to stay in college like Van Wilder, but he gives you that you have to at least respect the pass. So without a doubt, as he goes, Wisconsin goes.
Yep.
So in my eyes, he's the second most valuable player in all of college football. Well, probably, I'll be strong to put him up there, but I know he's not going to finish number 2. I don't. It's going to be a quarterback. It's the sexy one.
Yep.
I think probably the last running back to win it was Ingram, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah. And you have to have an amazing, either a running back has to have an amazing season or it's a down year for the quarterbacks.
Yep.
So Mr. 2Ks, who is your number 1? And I'm pretty sure
I'm still on number 2 yet.
Oh, you're on number 2? Okay.
Yeah, number 2, I have Tua.
Okay.
I know you said he really hasn't played against anybody, and you're exactly right. But I had him at number 2 going into the year, and he hasn't done anything to basically hurt his stock to me.
Nope.
So I can't have him slide down on the list any. I still have him at number 2. I think he's going to show why he'll be there. He'll be there as far as he'll be a finalist.
Probably the number 1 overall pick.
Yep. You'll hear my number 1 guy here in a second, but I don't think he's going to be able statistically to be able to jump this guy for the number 1 spot. But I think he's down the stretch here, especially when the season starts to get really good here in the next few weeks. He's going to show up, and it's going to be the Alabama team that everybody's used to seeing year in, year out.
I think it's going to be the Alabama offense we're used to seeing.
Yes.
The defense is that it's very un-Saban-esque, but they have a million injuries on that. And you can only, they probably have 85 5-stars on their whole team, but and Mr. Taylor, speaking of Mr. Taylor, he's sitting on 2 yards shy of 5,000 for his career. And he just got it. He just got it, and he looked, holy shit, he looked to get about 3 and ended up getting 7. So, welcome to the 5,000-yard club, Mr. Jonathan Taylor. Well, since you were talking about your number 2, give us your number 1.
Number 1, I have Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
He was not in my top 5. I think we agreed, we both had Trevor Lawrence as our number 1, and he's slipped out of there. I have Jalen Hurts as, for one, he plays in a conference where he's going to be able to throw up buco numbers week in, week out, because they just don't play any defense in that conference.
No.
And looking at his stat line today in the Texas game that they ended up winning, which that's a big win for them, because that's probably the toughest opponent they're going to play.
Yeah.
And he goes 16 for 28 for 235 and 3 touchdowns, and then has 17 carries for 131 yards and 1 more touchdown. It's
not a bad day at the office.
And to me,
in Texas's defense is probably the best defense in that division.
Yes.
Or in that conference.
And so looking at, he's just going to keep on throwing these numbers up every single week. And when it comes down to, everybody loves stats.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when it comes down to picking your Heisman winner. When you look at his stats, when it gets to the end of the season, I think his are going to be you kind of look at Kyler Murray's stats last year. I think looking at Ertz at the end of the season, it's going to be really hard to steer away from somebody else. Do I think he's the best player in the country? No, I don't. But numbers-wise, he's going to have the best numbers of any player in the country at the end of the year.
Can we kind of agree he's probably the comeback player of the year?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, every Bama fan just threw dirt on him.
Yes.
Even though when Tua was hurt for a couple games last year, what did he do? Win.
Mm-hmm.
I think he only has, 4 losses in his whole career? Something like that? Crazy. Well, I'm going to be that guy. I'm taking for the number 1 who's winning my Heisman Trophy halfway through the season. It's Chase Young from Ohio State. He is by far the best player in the country. And for those who don't know, he's the D-end that probably going to be, not probably, he's better than both Bosa's right now. I'm talking Bosa's in the NFL. This kid is a beast. He is a beast. Mm-hmm. And you know as well as I do, when you get that D-end, they have to double you a lot. They have to do this. Kid's going off. Mm-hmm. He had like 9 sacks for the first 5 weeks or something crazy like that. When a lot of teams, there's a lot of teams that didn't have 9 sacks, and he had them by himself. Yeah. And you know for a fact that other folks on that line or on that defense have sacks. Mm-hmm. That's just nasty. Mm-hmm. That's just nasty. And you saw when, even last year, because he was way overshadowed by Bosa. Mm-hmm. And I think what propelled him to where he is now is when Bosa went out, he had to step up. It was all him. Yep. And they slid a lot of doubles his way, and he learned through fire how to get through it. And now you're seeing just a man amongst kids right now. It is crazy. It is crazy. Now, realistically, I know he's not going to win the Heisman, but that's kind of what I wanted to do, is take the other side of it. Yeah. And there's a lot of folks that will agree with me. I mean, you really can't argue. Mm-hmm. He's the best defensive player in the game right now.
Absolutely.
In the whole country.
Absolutely. It's hard to, when it comes to trying to win a Heisman, and the only defensive player to ever win it is Woodson. Mm-hmm. But Woodson did it. He played offense a little bit. He was in special teams. Yeah. He was able to score touchdowns off of pick sixes. Yeah. He was able to score touchdowns off of punt returns. He was able to score them off of. They would line him up as a slot receiver. Mm-hmm. So he played all over the field. To where as a defensive end, it's going to be very, very hard for him. He's going to have to, especially in these when these games get big here down the stretch. When you look at when Michigan, play against Michigan, or when they play against Wisconsin, and possibly the Big Ten championship game, mm-hmm. that's when he's going to have to put up buco numbers, and probably going to have to pick up a fumble and take it to the house, and just big numbers like that, or possibly maybe make up a girlfriend or something like Manti Te'o did a few years back, and that was able to give him some sympathy votes his way.
Well, you know what, Te'o made the blueprint. He made the blueprint. All right, so that's our way too early Heisman picks, guys and gals. Well, I kind of have a feeling that one of the players that we listed is going to win it. Now, I think both of us will agree that with Trevor Lawrence not being on either one of our lists, if we would have said that at the beginning of the year, because when we had talked at length about it, was just pretty much slam dunk.
Oh yeah. I mean, after watching the college football playoff last year, and the way he played, and basically took them to a championship, put the team on his shoulders, and he took them, and I mean, he had to have been about everybody's favorite going into the year, and it's not that he's played bad this year, but he's
not putting up video game numbers like these cats are.
There's no improvement from.
No. It's hard to improve on something like that. The only thing you can do is continue to do it. Yep. Longevity is key.
And that's Tua. Mm-hmm. He hasn't played against anybody yet, but like I said, he hasn't done anything to hurt his stock. He's just been consistent, putting up the Tua numbers, and
that's why I couldn't leave him outside my top 5. Mm-hmm. And that's why I said right out the gate, could he move up? Probably. Mm-hmm. Probably, but right now, as it sits right now, today, I can't put him in that above 5, mm-hmm. in my opinion. All right. So, we got Wisconsin 14, Michigan State 0. It looks like it's going to be Wisconsin 21 here pretty quick. So, they're driving. They just got a first down. Oh, that's a second down. Never mind. But let's get into some fucking pick'ems.
All right.
Paycheck and Onions. Paycheck and Onions. If anyone wants to help make us a song that I can play right there so I don't have to sing, that'd be fucking fantastic. Let's bring the viewers and listeners up to par, up to speed. How many points you got over there, kid?
25.
Holy shit, you're blowing me out. I have 17. I had a really bad couple weeks there.
I thought are you counting your, because you had 17 last week.
Did I?
Right, and then you just said you got 6 today.
Oh,
so I don't think
maybe I'm miscounting.
Yeah, I don't think you're counting your 6 from last week on there.
Oh, you're right. I did not. So 23 then.
Yes.
Okay. Let's make that adjustment real quick. Mm-hmm.
There you have it.
There you go.
2Ks is honest.
Hey, you know what? No arguing that. So let's start off with one of your pick'ems, Mr. 2Ks.
The first one, I know it's probably like a broken record. I pick the Cowboys, I think, every single week, but they really looked like shit, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
The Saints, I kind of like, the Saints have a really good defense. And then they come out flat as shit last week against the Packers. And I'm not taking anything away from the Packers. The Packers are a very good team. But you're at home. You're in your home field. You should be able to take care of business. You give up 4 rushing touchdowns to Aaron Jones. You dig yourself into...
Which killed my fantasy team last week. Thank you.
Which they dug themselves into a huge hole right off the bat. And it was too much for them. And so I picked them again last week to come back and beat the Jets here tomorrow. And they should take care of business on that. And then for this one, I'm picking them not tomorrow, but the following week, Cowboys over the Eagles.
It's not a bad game. And when we were putting these picks together, folks, it was the college football slate scarce.
Mm-hmm.
Scarce. Where do we say we think game day is going to be?
Probably Michigan, Penn State.
Yeah,
would be my guess.
Yeah, that seems to be the only top 25 matchup.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, which I'm sure.
I think the only other one that I saw that was top 25 was Arizona State and Utah.
Okay, yep. Which wouldn't be a bad gig either, but I think if I'm game day and choosing, I'm going to Happy Valley.
Mm.
Going to Happy Valley at night, whiteout, and very, very underranked Penn State team. Very underappreciated Penn State team.
Yeah. I saw that today when
they're just fucking undefeated.
Yeah, and Michigan is the favorite by 3.5, which is just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. I don't get that. I don't get that either. But yeah, I Happy Valley.
I would say that if Michigan kind of they beat Illinois today, which they should have, they still didn't look like the way that Michigan needs to look.
Bro, hold on. Harbaugh said the offense is clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah. No.
Now, are we talking about like a lawnmower, a Ford Escort?
Yeah,
a V8. No. I mean,
they're not clicking on any fucking cylinders, and their defense looked great against Iowa last week, but it didn't look that great today against Illinois.
No, they jump out to a 28-0 lead.
Yeah, they're just there's no consistency with them at all, and. So with them getting by and beating Illinois, which how they should have. Right. If Penn State goes and beats Iowa today, then I would say that'll probably change. I think Penn State will be the favorite.
Yeah, especially being at home. So if Michigan's a 3.5 point favorite, it means that they're actually 6.
I mean, people don't forget about what happened a couple years ago when Michigan went in for a night game against Penn State and whiteout when Michigan. I think Saquon and McSorley
Mick kicked some ass. Yeah, I do remember that. There's a lot of folks that want to forget it, but I remember it.
Yeah.
I was listening to the College Game Day, or College Football Live, podcast, and I think Joey Galloway kind of said it best. He said, "All right, if the Michigan offense is hitting on all cylinders." Maybe this is all the cylinders they have.
Mm.
You can't really compare it to any other vehicle.
Mm.
Maybe this is just all they got. And if that's the case, that's disappointing.
Mm.
Probably one of the better, if not one of the best, wide receiver trios. The running game, I think, is what's holding everything back because there's not that. I mean, the kid had to start off the season with 200 yard, but one of them was on 33 carries. I think it was game two, the Army game. Kid carried the ball 33 times for 100 yards. It's not a very good average.
No. And I put more of that on the offensive line than I do on. I mean, he's a true freshman running back.
Which Wisconsin showed all the holes in that offensive line.
Yep.
Well, my first pick'em, I'm going to the NFL, and I'm looking at the Chargers at the Titans. Taking the Titans.
Okay.
I like the way they're rolling. Chargers have a lot of injuries, and yeah, I just see the Titans are sneaky this year. I mean, Derrick Henry probably hasn't had the statistical, especially like fantasy football season that a lot of people thought he would have had, but he's sneaky. Well, there was a couple games he had 3 touchdowns and 150 or something like that. And whoever had him, I probably played against him. I'm taking the Titans. Don't put dirt on Mariota's grave quite yet. Is he playing as a franchise quarterback? No, but he's improving. And I think give it a little bit more time, and we'll see where it goes from there. But for next week, Titans over Chargers. Who's your second one?
Second one, I'm going Lions over the Vikings. And if you were listening last week, I picked, which we'll be able to see the outcome tomorrow. I picked Lions over the Packers, and I think the Lions I think are better than what people think.
I can't disagree.
And I think there's a lot of shit going on in Minnesota right now as far as with the Vikings, and
they had a great game last week. But they let Cousins throw the ball.
Yeah,
you have 2 of the top 10 receivers in the game, and when I think the game before they had a combined 4 touches, can't happen.
Yep.
As great as Dalvin Cook is, he's only going to get better if you open that up. And probably one of the best tight ends in Kyle Rudolph. And Cousins is a good quarterback. He's better than average. He is a franchise quarterback. Can he go throw 5 dimes and 400 yards? Yep. Can he hand the ball off 75 times and throw twice? Sure.
Yep.
But that team, if you rewind back to when we did our pick'ems, I was very high on the Vikings, and they're letting me down. They're taking a gigantic shit, and the team I was not so high on, the Packers. Wow. Wow. So, yeah, that was not a good call by your boy Turbo, but yeah, to get back to the Lions, no, the Lions are playing very well. They're playing very well, and they should have won the game against the Cardinals.
They played one really bad half all season. That was the Cardinals game.
Yep.
Other than that, they played really good football. I mean, they gave themselves a really legitimate shot of beating the Chiefs.
Yes, they did. Well, for my game 2, and I think both of us have this on ours. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of games to choose from. I'm going Penn State over Michigan, regardless of the spread, because I think, like you said, when it actually comes down to it, I think you're going to be looking at Penn State 7.5, maybe 9. If you can get Michigan at 3.5, take that all day. Yeah. Because I think that line's going to swing quite violently. But then again, they were favored about the same going into the Wisconsin game too.
That line to me is it all comes down to what happens between Penn State and Iowa today. And if Iowa is to beat Penn State, then that line might stay the same.
It could be.
So I don't know. That one's a tough one. But as far as for my third pick'em, I have the same game, and you're probably thinking I'm picking Michigan, but I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not. I'm picking Penn State.
Oh, Michigan fans.
I'm picking with my brain.
Michigan fans. He's bailing on you.
Picking with my brain, not my heart. I'll be rooting. I will be rooting for Michigan, but like I've said
rooting with your heart, betting with your pocketbook.
I've always said it. I'm a realist, and I don't think that Michigan is very good. I'll be the first one to say it. And I don't think that Penn State's anything spectacular, but I think Penn State's a better football team, and they're at home in a night game and a whiteout, and I think Penn State wins by. I'll say Penn State wins by more than 10.
I was going to say 14. 14. Yeah, you heard it here, folks. Your boy's jumping off the bandwagon. That's what's happened. And I think by the comments he's made earlier in the season about Michigan, it shouldn't shock you. Well, we got kind of a nail biter. Alabama 24, Texas A&M 10. Now there's a Clemson score right there, 28-0 in the second quarter. That looks more like Trevor Lawrence. That looks better. And my last pick'em, I'm going to the MAC. I'm looking at Western Michigan at Eastern Michigan. And I know I picked against the Broncos. I picked the Chips to beat them. I can't do it again.
No.
Can't do it again. I got to go Western over this one. Western at Eastern, making a ruckus. Tim Lester's got them boys fired up. I can feel it. So who is your paycheck game, Mr. 2Ks?
So I decided to make this game my paycheck game just because, well, we did for Dustin Perry.
Yes.
We did a little special there a few weeks back and about the Niners. And we didn't knock the Niners by any means, but we just didn't, we didn't really have a whole lot to say because,
there was a lot to prove.
Yes.
There's a lot to prove.
And being honest, there's not a whole lot of guys with the Niners that I really knew at the time. And now watching a few weeks of them, I'm starting to actually get to know some of these guys, and they're a damn good football team.
Yes, we owe Mr. Perry an apology.
Yes, and
we do.
Everybody wants to love all over Sean McVay, and he deserves a lot
Rightfully
of it.
So.
Yes,
Rightfully
he deserves a lot of it, but I think people kind of forget about Kyle Shanahan and that whole theory of things, and Kyle Shanahan might be the best out of all of them, and. Shanahan gets to San Francisco and Jimmy G goes down right off the bat. So, when you lose your franchise quarterback right off the bat, it's very hard to bounce back after that. And now
you not only lose your starting quarterback, but your starting running back that you traded for.
Yes.
In Jerick McKinnon, who
we haven't even seen him yet.
Unforeseen circumstances, he hurt himself again. So when you take your two of your major cogs out of an offense that is very driven by those two positions. I can see why, and that's pretty much the reason why we couldn't put him above some of the competition, because there was a lot of unknowns. And you look at him now, are they better than the Rams? Yes.
Yeah.
Are they better than the Seahawks? Probably. That would be a great game. I think that game could go either way. But before the season started, if you would have, I'm pretty sure both of us would have taken the other two teams over the Niners by far.
Absolutely. And and they've played a very, very nice schedule so far, and it's going to get a lot tougher here for them. But they're very, very good as far as their defensive line is very, very good. Their offensive line is very, very good, and that's where you win football games right there. And they have a quarterback that's not turning the ball over and just making the plays that he needs to make.
Never fucking loses.
They have two running backs that. Right now really they have about 3 or 4 different running backs that they can throw at you. But in the Monday night game, their consistent guys are Breda and Tevin Coleman, who are it doesn't matter which one's on the field. They both know what they both can run the football. They really impressed me, and Cleveland,
does not impress you.
No, not at all. And going into the season, I was kind of high on them.
There's a lot of folks that were, and rightfully so. They're the one making all the noise.
Oh yeah.
And now they're not backing up any of that fucking noise.
Yes, and the Niners, goddamn it, they're just. They haven't played. Like I said, they haven't played against a really tough schedule to this point yet, but they haven't done anything to disappoint. No. And they've improved every single week, and that's why I'm putting my paycheck on them over the Washington Redskins.
Which it's a big shocker there.
Yeah, but I'm putting my fucking paycheck on it, so that's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm just picking them to win. I'm putting my paycheck on it.
And you know what? You're 100% right. And they actually might have the best running attack in all the NFL, which comes, like you said, directly on the back of the offensive line. Jimmy G just wins. That's all he does. Fuck. Point proven right there. Point proven. But when you look at the other teams in that division, you're like, man, they got a real shot to win this. They got a real shot to win it. They have a real shot to be the best team in the NFC.
Absolutely.
And no one's giving them any hype, any pub, nothing.
But that might be the way that they want it.
You know what? We got your back, boys. We got your back. We're driving that fucking
All
bus.
you need is to have the turbo and 2Ks at your back.
I don't know. Have you looked at the history of some of the bandwagons we've driven? We've driven them things right into a fucking wall. So,
that is true. That is true.
Dustin, after the show, if you guys go into a huge tailspin, I apologize. But I doubt that happens. But yeah, keep them boys healthy, DP. You and the boys are doing a great job out there. My paycheck game, I'm looking at the Ohio State at Northwestern. And there's no big shocker here. I'm taking Ohio State. Even with that home field advantage, I can't see Northwestern even competing in this game without a quarterback. So that's why, like you said, I'm putting my paycheck on it because there's no way. Well, there is a way, but very, very doubtful. Yeah. So what about your Onions pick? What game you looking at, and what is the outcome?
It was really hard for me to find I was looking through all the games, trying to find an Onions pick, and I really couldn't find anything that just popped out to me. Mm-hmm. So I went with a team that won an Onions pick for me a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
and
riding the hot hand.
Yes, and I'm gonna ride them out, and I'm picking Arizona State over Utah.
Oh, the Fighting Herm Edwards.
Yes,
very nice. I like that pick. I picked against Utah in an Onions pick. They fucking destroyed. I want to say I picked what the hell did I pick? Oh, it was it doesn't matter. I forget. My Onions game, I'm going out to the Pac-10. Why? Because it's cold here and it's probably warmer there. Going out to the Pac-10. I'm looking at Oregon at Washington. I'm riding Washington. I'm riding that. I think Eason's going to have a big game. Oregon really hasn't. I think they're 15th or something like that. They really haven't shocked me by any means. And so yeah, I'm taking Washington basically because they're at home, and I think it's going to be a close game. But yeah, I think Washington squeaks it out. Well, that's our Paycheck and Onions, motherfuckers. Let's do a little fantasy football talk. And I'd love to look at my fantasy team right now, but I can't because we're recording on my phone.
I'll pull it all up because I tell you right now, I'm still undefeated, people.
Has Christian won a game yet?
He's still defeated.
Oh, well, at least you two are consistent. And I always hate winning week one because that's usually a bad sign for me because I won week one. I beat Christian, thank God. And then I've rattled off 4 L's in a row now. Mm-hmm. I had Deshaun Watson go off last week. I'm like, shit. The only thing that could have went better is if I would have had Will Fuller instead of Hopkins. That's the only thing. Mm-hmm. All my running backs got points. I'm pretty sure each one of them saw the end zone at least once. Threw up like 215 points. I'm like, fuck yes. Or maybe even a little more. It's hard to beat someone when they put up 250 something. Yeah, that was fucking
guy I work with.
Yeah,
Scott.
Fuck him.
Threw up 269.
Yeah. What did I score?
215.
Yeah, that's all. I thought I was in the driver's seat till Aaron Jones played. Asshole. Because yeah, that pretty much contradicted my whole Deshaun Watson play. Mm-hmm. So that worked out great. Mm-hmm. That worked out amazing. But so what's the standings? Where are we at? I know you're leading this thing.
Yeah, I'm leading it 5-0. Kayla Wilson 4-1.
Kayla's got a great team.
Then there's 4 teams at 3-2. Scott, Carl, my dad.
Carl has a better record than I do?
Yep.
Man, this is bullshit.
And Jeremy Warren, 3-2 also.
And Jeremy keeps sending me trade requests, and
he's been trying to trade people all year long, and they're like the stupidest trades.
Is he still trying to trade Antonio Brown?
He offered me, it was White from the Patriots and Julian Edelman for Zeke Elliott.
I mean, that's totally legit. I just ignore him. And then I'll be the first one. I'm horrible even looking at him.
Yeah.
So it's not like an alert pops up like, hey, actually it does, but I don't look at it. So
and
maybe it's my fault.
Christian's told me some of the trades that he's tried to offer him, and I'm just like, I thought I had it bad, but some of the trades he's tried to throw over on Team Free Hernandez has been they've been pretty ugly trades. But yeah, and then you're at 1-4. Frank
just where I want to be.
Frank's at 1-4.
Tied with Frank.
Is it Matt Oosterwall? 2-3. And then Team Free Hernandez, Christian Hudson rounding it off down at the bottom, 0-5.
0-5. Who's he playing this week?
I know that I'm playing against Frank, and Frank, you are missing like 3 players in your lineup right now because of a bye week. Please fill your positions. Your defense got you 28 points. You have a legit shot to beat me if you fill your roster.
He has New England's defense, which is like the third best fantasy player in the whole fucking league.
Yeah. But right now he's got all of his Bears players. They're on a bye this week, so he's got his quarterback out. He's got wide receiver out. I mean, he's missing like 3 guys in his lineup right now.
Thank God Robbie Gould's still there.
They're on a bye. You are allowed to change your players, your roster out, Frank.
Yeah, please do. Please knock off 2Ks.
Christian,
I play your dad.
Christian has Kayla Wilson, so probably gonna see him at 0-6.
Oh man,
but I'll be rooting for him tomorrow because I would like to see somebody, give her another loss because her team legitimately scares me. So okay.
You just haven't looked at my team long enough. You haven't looked at my team long enough. Yeah, I play your dad. I think we're both projected around.
You guys are both projected for
215
big weeks. Yeah,
somewhere in there. Last I looked, anyway. So yeah, things are heating up with that. I mean, it's week 6?
Yep.
Week 6, about halfway through before playoffs. Playoffs start, I think, week 13. So
yeah, Frank's team, he got 28 out of the Patriots, and he ended up, I think one of his receivers got him 7 or 8, and he's only projected for 80 points right now.
Oh, nice.
Because he's got Trubisky on a bye, Cohen on a bye, Allen Robinson on a bye. Yeah.
Does he have any other quarterbacks on his roster?
Yes.
He probably has to.
He's got Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G, throw him up there.
Yes, throw him in there.
Throw him in there. Come on. I'll go live Monday. And it'd be too late then. So yeah. Well, should we text him and tell him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I don't want to play. I mean, like I said, I'm all about staying undefeated.
But not like that.
Not like that.
Yeah, not like that. So yeah. 2K crew, we will, either myself or 2Ks will hit him up and be like, yo, fix your shit. All right, man, we're past that hour mark. And going to leave you with this. Wisconsin's up 17-0. And they've been, it's definitely been, Michigan State's defense that's keeping this a game. Because Michigan State's offense, I don't think is, they might have like 2 first downs. Of course, I'm not really watching it that intently, but they're going into halftime, and you know what? We're going into 2Ks is going hunting.
Yep.
2Ks is going hunting, so hopefully he gets a deer and not just hides from him like his wife says.
2K that might be what I do. I might just go out there and hide it.
No, what you actually do is probably go out there and take a nap. No kids.
It's quiet.
Just you.
It's quiet.
Yeah. Just. That's why I know a lot of dudes that hunt recliners. So.
Yeah.
Now, probably you in a tree in a recliner, probably not the best idea. But 2K crew, we'll let you out of here with this. Have a great week. And as always, Jim Rome, we're coming for you.